I would have thought that my school board would have liked to have had that mapped out before we voted to do the next step. Is there a budget for the process? I mean, I have all those kinds of questions. So I want us to get ahead of the game, and I want you to use every opportunity like this where you can get people from the community to come out to give them some of that information. I understand why you want to take the questions away and come back, but even the basic overview of what each district really is, you kind of missed it.
Thank you. Richard McCray.
Yes, sir. I'm a retiree at Ypsilanti Public Schools. Put 23 years in. I worked at Berry Child Development Center, West Middle School, Ypsilanti High School, George, Erickson, your name. I was the head custodian. My concern here, I bought in Ypsilanti some property in Ypsilanti Township right off West Michigan Ave and invested some good money in improving the property and stuff like this here. I have heard nobody talk about finances. We're talking about millages. How do we pass millages if it becomes one consolidated district? Who owns the property that we have now that the taxpayers have paid and remodeled for years in Ypsilanti Public Schools as well as Bull Run? The reputation of Ypsilanti, as one of the parents says in Bull Run, is not highly looked upon. That's why you're losing students. Milan School, my son goes to Milan School. He'll be a graduate this year from Milan School. Milan School has a school of choice that is 500 students big. They get their students from Ypsilanti, Lincoln, Little Rock, South Academy, goes to the 8th grade. All of them go from South Academy, which are leaving these schools, and where do they go? To the good school, Milan School District. So Milan schools have raised up their students. They're living good out there. They've got their school. They have AP programs and stuff like this. This is how they pay for the AP programs. I fought school of choice because I know that it takes away from districts like Will Run and Ypsi, that parents are looking for a choice. And they will continue doing this, and it will be worse, I believe, when you consolidate and say that you got the kids that are joined together, rather than Will Run looking at Belleville or another school to join with, and Ypsi looking at Ann Arbor or Lincoln School, which are pretty high schools compared to what you're talking about coming in here to get. The biggest problem in any school district is discipline.
Yes.
If you do not correct your discipline, you're going to have it. And that's what has happened to Ypsi schools. We did a survey years ago and asked parents as to why they love Perry Child Development Center, our early education program, but left when they were getting into the higher grades. And you know what the biggest thing was? Discipline. Until we get discipline under control, you can consolidate all you want to. And I'll go with one of the people, one of the parents said over here. Think about voting in all new people. You talked about a change, make a change. Yes. Voters, make a change. And that's what I got to say. But finance-wise, still you're talking about millage and property. You haven't crossed property. If it doesn't work, who do they close Will Run School Park down? And all the buildings in Will Run go? If you shrink and you consolidate and you wind up only having, because at one time we said every bit of the space in a building had to be used. We closed buildings in Ypsilanti. I was on a Blue Ribbon Committee where we closed 3 and 4 buildings because we had rooms sitting that was empty. So when you get a run from them going to other districts, you wind up with the same situation with desks sitting empty, and they say consolidate and fill up the space. What do we do with our buildings in Little Run? Or does Ipsy go to Little Run schools? Or does Little Run schools go to Ipsy, and stay in Ipsy? And rest the case.
And Monica Ross Williams, please.
It's a painful day to know as alumni that we have got to this point with Ypsilanti Public Schools. I can honestly say that as alumni, it's a shame that the school board has not looked to the alumni that's all around this room to try and see what we can do in order to help save the high school and save the school district. I'm bringing my book right now, here, this is it, my band letter. From Ypsilanti High School. In our class of 400 people that was in that class, have the school board ever asked any of our 400 people, the ones that are still around, the ones that are around the state, the ones that are around even the country, to come and try and volunteer time inside of the school district in order to save the schools? I would probably say no. The other thing that I want to say is that it has been reinvention after reinvention for Ypsilanti Public Schools. Just because I didn't have my kids in that school district doesn't mean that I didn't know what was going on. I went up to that school, I went to go visit teachers even after I left. I saw kids cussing in the hallway. I saw kids fighting in the hallway. We're talking early 2000s. I talked to a teacher that said she was scared every day to be to work. I mean, what happened? What happened to our school district? Because it didn't used to be that way. And I know this because I'm alumni. I went there from 6th grade to 12th grade. It's time for people to take some responsibilities and look at the fact that the reason why the school district is in the way, the shape it is because people did not do their job. They didn't do their job with the discipline. They didn't do their job with keeping up the reputation of Ypsilanti Public Schools and Ypsilanti School District, and it's a shame. It's a shame that we have got to this point. Now we don't know what our school is going to be. What if you took away the Brave, you took away the Brave, and you made it a Phoenix? Now you're going to take away the school district? It's a shame.
Dion Freeman.
I'm actually a former student of WRCS schools. I actually have I have actually 6 children that are now attending Ypsilanti Public Schools. My question is about transportation, because we're saying that this is going to be consolidated. What is going to happen with the transportation for if our kids are living in the Ypsi district and now they're going to be transferred to the Woodland district? What schools are going to be for what? This is a big concern because I actually drive for the district, so it's a big question of what's going to happen to that there. That's it.
Thank you, sir.
Amanda Watson.
Hi, thank you. My name is Amanda Watson, and I live in Willow Run, and my children go to Ipsy. My children have actually been at private schools also, and my concern is, I actually think it's a good thing that you're consolidating, but I am concerned that like both schools are failing, and I'm wondering where you're going to come up with new ideas. And if the charter schools and private schools do so much better, why can't we model what we do in public schools the way successful schools do? The reason my kids are at Ipsy are because they're special needs kids. And I understand the discipline issue, but I have a kid, it's hard to hear that because I do have a kid that has special needs, that he has meltdowns, he screams, he runs, it's very, he's on medicine, and I appreciate the help that he gets at the public school. So I'm not necessarily thinking that discipline, I feel like it's thrown around and people don't actually know, what that means. But I would really like that, if you guys, as you think about